Hello everyone in cyber world, welcome back to another video. I'm Richard.
And I'm Jennifer, and this is our channel we call Poor Man's DIY. Okay, so this project, we decided to take our Murphy bed and we're going to redo it.
Yes, this is something that we actually did many years ago. It may be one of our first videos that we posted on YouTube. And if you go back and look at it, it's not of the best quality in the world. And we didn't really give you detailed instructions on how to do it. Most of our videos that we show were just meant for inspiration to show you that, hey, if we can do something like this, you can do it as well. Well, recently we've gotten a little more confident with our woodworking skills, and we've always wanted to make this look a little more professional. So that's what we're going to be doing on this particular project. We're going to tear this one down. And we're going to reinstall it, but this time, instead of just doing it for inspiration, we're going to be giving you step-by-step instructions. And so this whole project may be over several different parts on the video, and we'll show you those one by one. In this particular case, we're not actually sponsored, but we're working with EasyDIYMurphyBed.com. We happened to come across them on the internet years ago. We bought the product. We liked it so much, we bought a second one and we built a second video. And since then, we've run into a few, not issues, but we've had some questions when we moved. We wanted to tear the old one down and bring it to the new house and reassemble it. And I reached out and asked some questions, and they were extremely helpful, though they didn't have to be. They provided us with a lot of information. And then, so now that we're going to do this one more time, we wanted to do it right, and we want to do justice and make sure that we're representing their products well. And so we reached out to them, and they gave us the okay. So we will be putting a link on there if you like what you see there. What's wonderful about their product is you buy the hardware, and when you purchase the hardware, they send you some booklets, and the booklets include exact details on what you need to purchase, to include how much wood, what type of wood, how long, how small, and how many screws you need, what size screws, the glue, and so much more. And they give you step-by-step details on how to put these pieces together. And even one of the most important things, they have a cut sheet. And what the cut sheet is, you buy a 4x8 sheet of plywood or full-size wood if you can afford to buy something like that. And they show you exactly what you need to cut those down for every single piece that's going to be needed to assemble this particular thing. So we're going to show you all those, and we will do a step-by-step detail. The company themselves has great videos, and they have another booklet that shows you exactly how to do it. So in reality, do you need us? No, but we're going to be rebuilding anyways, so we figured why not show you how we're going to go ahead and do this, and maybe some of the things that we do will be able to fill in some of the blanks that you might not pick up on the books, though the books and their videos are outstanding anyways. So as I said, we're going to go ahead and tear this apart, and then we'll start building this little by little, and we'll show you the progress on it, and then the final result in a few weeks. So we hope you enjoy this series. Yes. Stick with us, and let's get going.
Let's go ahead and take a look.
Wait, before we actually get started, remember, hit that like button and leave us a comment at the end if you enjoy it. These things help our channel grow, and if you haven't subscribed already, be sure to hit the subscribe button as well. Now let's get on with the content. As we mentioned at the beginning of this video, the company that we work with, we ordered the hardware, and they sent along with it some manuals. And one of the manuals has instructions for every single thing that you're going to need to purchase, including the type of wood, and they're going to show you how to cut that, and we'll get into it. But the parts that you're going to need in addition to the wood are
Wood glue, silicone caulking, adhesive, all-purpose, some wood screws, and also real wood veneer edging.
Okay, what the edging is for those of you who aren't familiar, we're going to be working with plywood, and if you've ever looked at plywood, the edges of the plywood, you have the lines, so it's not a solid piece of wood. What this is an iron-on piece that when you iron it on, it actually makes it look like a full piece of wood rather than plywood, and we'll be showing you how to do that. Now, in addition to these things that you're actually required, we're going to be doing some things that are a little bit different and going above and beyond, and so we're going to be purchasing some things that we recommend that you might want to use as well. First of all, we're going to be using a table saw, but if you use a circular saw as well, any other power tools to do things, you need to make sure that you have ear protection. We have plenty of eye protection and masks, but we've only got one set of ear muffs, so we bought another one to make sure we both have this, so that we're working on that. That's something that's critical. Also, for this edge banding, as it's called, when you put it on, you actually iron it on. And it's got glue on it, and the iron will just melt the glue and it'll stick to it. But we did this with our own iron before, and the first time we did that, it just ruined our really good iron, and we spent a long time trying to clean that up. So we went out and purchased a very inexpensive one, and so if this gets glue and everything else on it on the bottom, I don't care. All right, what we're going to be doing also to this particular case is we decided we're not going to paint it. We want to stain the wood and make it look as naturally beautiful as possible. So what we're going to purchase, if you want to do this, is you want to do some pre-stain. The pre-stain, what that will do is treat the wood so that when you do add the stain, it stains it evenly. Without this, you can get some blotchy spots on the wood. Some places will get darker than others, and so the pre-stain will just kind of level out it and then make sure that the stain gets a nice, clean, level darkness, lightness, all the way from top to bottom. All right, so we're going to be using this as well, and what we purchased also is this empty gallon can, looks like a paint bucket. The reason for this is each one of these, they only come in quarts, and each one of these might have a very, very tiny difference in color between the four. So when you finish one and you start on the next one and you apply it to the wood, you may notice that there's a slight difference in color. They can't make a perfect match in every one of these cans. So what we're going to do is we're going to pour all of these into one can and stir it together so that when we use this, it'll be an even, same color matching for every bit of this project. All right. Also, you can get some fine bristle brushes, or you can use some foam brushes. So we went out and got some foam brushes on that, and we bought a bag of rags. So when you apply the stain and you have to wipe it off, this works really well too, and it was pretty inexpensive. We'll give you links to this stuff if we can find them, to show you that you can purchase on Amazon as well. So let's go ahead and get started with the project itself. All right, now before we get started on this one here, we wanted to tell you that there are several different options you have for cutting this wood. We are going to be using a table saw, and we're going to show you how we do this and all the steps that we take to do this one by one. But just because you don't have a table saw doesn't mean you can't do this project. You can actually do this project quite easily with a circular saw. All that's involved on that one here is you want to draw out your lines on the wood, and so make sure that you have a straight cut. You're going to get something with a straight edge. This, by the way, it happens to be a piece that we're going to be using for this build anyways. Because it has a straight edge, you'll lay it on your table or your cutting surface and clamp it on there, and then when you use your circular saw, you will be able to cut a very straight line on this one here, even though you don't have a table saw. Now, if you don't have a circular saw, and if you don't have a table saw, you still have a lot of options here. Or I should say you have one really good option. And we did this, the first two builds that we did when we made Murphy beds in the past. What you can do is actually purchase your wood from the local lumber yard or the big box store, and they will actually do the cuts for you. They usually charge you, I think, about 50 cents per cut, and even if there's 20 cuts or so, it's not very expensive when you count it all up. They can do it for less than $20 for everything that you're going to need to cut. It did take over 1 or 2 hours, I think, when we did that, but the people that we worked with were very patient with us. We told them we're going to be needing a lot of cuts. We handed them the paper that we had showing the cuts, and they did it one by one, and it came out simple. So that might be the best option for you, even if you have all these equipment, because they can make the cuts. Easier for you to load it in a car. You don't need a truck, and you can bring everything home all cut and ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and start, and we'll show you how we're going to do this on the table saw.
So before we cut the piece of wood, the instructions say to mark the measurements. So what we're going to use is frog tape and a Sharpie, and we're going to mark those measurements on the frog tape and then put them on the piece of wood. Before we get started, make sure you put on your safety gear.